When the lights come on, she's ready to rise. Donnelly steps up with faith in her eyes. Puzzle pieces fitting, stars up in the sky. With every prayer and song, she'll make your spirit fly.
She's got the voice that can heal the soul. Singing, gaming, she's on a roll. Star Wars battles to her prayerful light. Donnelly's shining through the night. Shine on, Donnelly's, you light up the way. Singing, praying, bringing hope today.
From puzzles to the force, you're always on, Donnelly's.
You're our shining song. In the game or the prayer, she's standing tall. With every step, she answers the call. Blessings in her heart, light in her soul. With Donnelly's, we're ready to roll.
Raise your hands, feel the groove. With her faith and her love, you can't lose.
From the galaxy far to the prayers so deep, Donnelly's is the joy we keep.
Shine on, Donnelly's, you're the light we need.
With every song and every prayer you lead.
From puzzles to the force, you're always on, Donnelly's. You're our shining song. Shine on, Donnelly's. Shine on.
Good morning, and happy Saturday. I just realized I forgot to close that door. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Oh man, I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off this morning. I got up, I woke up slowly today, is essentially what it is. I got back home from a concert late last night, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna take it slow today. And then, next thing I know, it's nearly 7:30, and I'm like, I need to run downstairs and get my breakfast. So I run downstairs, and I get my breakfast, and then I realize, oh, I don't have time to do like half the stuff that I usually do before going on stream. So I'm like brushing my hair quickly, throwing some clothes on. After stream, I'll have to wash my dishes. But it was a wonderful concert. It was Mark Schultz and Avalon, and unfortunately, Dad and I could not stay for the whole thing as much as I wanted to. I was really hoping to hear Avalon sing either Can't Live a Day or Testify to Love, but I got to hear them sing Glory of the Blood, and I was like, oh, it's been years since I've heard that song, and it makes me so happy. Oh man, it brought back memories hearing them sing that song. Aw, thank you. Good morning, Mama Belle. Good morning, Treasure Chest, and howdy, Triple B Mike. How's it going, everybody? Right? Isn't Avalon such a great group? They had so many great stories and everything. I loved it. Like, I loved hearing Mark Schultz's stories and Avalon's stories. Good morning, Biscuit. How you doing, buddy? Are you on your best behavior today? I hope you're gonna have a wonderful day. You're gonna get to run off some energy, and you're gonna get to play some games, maybe? Oh man, but it was so good. Like, I am one of those that is a storyteller. I love when we get to share stories and the stories behind the songs that are written. And it's one of those things where I'm like, to me, I love behind the scenes stuff. So hearing what all went into why they wrote the song the way that they did and why they chose to write that song, like what led up to it, it just makes it all so much more real and so much more beautiful to hear the heart that was poured into those words. Just woke up. There we go. Well, I can't think of a better way to wake up than with a devotional. Let me grab that. There we go. We got that. We got our devotional. We're gonna do 2 today, I think, because I feel like doing 2, and these 2 can kind of go back to back. Been going through some stuff. Aw, Treasure, what's going on? So this first one is called You Are Salt. And the verse that goes along with this is Matthew 5:13. God's people are his preserving agents for a world that is corrupted and degenerating because of sin. Your life is designed and commissioned by God to enhance a community and to preserve what is good and right. There is deep significance today for a godly life that is involved in its community. The presence of Christ in you makes all that he is available to others. His salvation can free an addict, mend a broken home, heal the pain of the past, restore a wayward child, and comfort a grieving heart. All of this is available to those around you as Christ expresses his love through you. If we are not in a right relationship with our Lord, however, Jesus said that we are like salt that has lost its saltiness and is therefore good for nothing. None of God's saving grace and power can be dispensed through us to others. How do we test the saltiness of our life? Look at our family. Are we preserving it from the destructive influences that surround it? Examine our workplace. Are the sinful influences in our work environment being halted because we're there? Observe our community. Is it a better place because we're involved in it? What about our church? The evidence that we have been used by God as a preserving agent is that things are becoming spiritually better around us instead of worse. If people around us are deteriorating spiritually, we need to go to our Lord and allow him to adjust our lives so that we can be used to preserve others. You are light. Let your light so shine before men so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven. Matthew 5:16. There is no mistaking the effect of light upon a darkened place. Light boldly and unabashedly announces its presence and vigorously dispels darkness. God's desire is to fill you with his light. He wants you to shine as a brilliant testimony of his presence and power in your life, so that the darkness in the lives of those around you will be displaced by the light of God's glory. If, however, you notice the world around you becoming darker and darker, don't blame the darkness. It's simply doing what darkness does. The only remedy for darkness is light. Jesus said his disciples should be the light of the world, Matthew 5:14. What an awesome responsibility to be the ones through whom God would shine his divine light and dispel the darkness from around others. In announcing his own coming, Jesus said, "The people who live in darkness have seen a great light, and for those living in the shadowland of death, light has dawned," Matthew 4:16. There was no ignoring Jesus' arrival upon earth. Darkness was dispelled. Everywhere Jesus went, God's truth was boldly proclaimed, people were healed, hypocrisy was exposed, and sinners found forgiveness. The world was never the same once the Father introduced his light through his Son. Can that be said of you as well? Do your co-workers recognize the light that is within you? Does the presence of Christ radiate from your home into your community? When God's light is allowed to shine unhindered through your life, the darkness around you will be dispelled. So those definitely go hand in hand. It's all about how the way that we live our lives, others should see a difference in us, and they should be affected by it. We should be seeing that people are coming up to us and going, "Hey, what's going on? Why are you so happy all the time?" And then we can tell them that about our happiness and our joy in Christ, and we can be pouring into them and saying, "Hey, I'm praying for you," and all the other things that we're supposed to do as the family of God. And they'll see him working in and through us, and that will bring a huge morale boost to people around you, especially as they come into faith as well. And we should be that light in a dark place, which is one of my goals here, is to be that light in a dark place. I love getting to share about God's love with you guys and those around me in my IRL community as well. And so if we're not seeing that we're making that difference, yeah, it could be the effects of the spiritual warfare going on, but we should also take a little introspection as well and make sure that we are letting our light shine. Because I'll be honest with you guys, when I first started streaming, I was scared to share my faith. I was scared to talk about pretty much anything, religion, politics, anything like that. But it was through seeing the light shining in other people, their boldness to share their faith, regardless of the consequences, that helped me to become more bold in sharing my faith. And so that's been a huge blessing to me, and that is another example of being that salt and light. Is that your light shines on others and gives them the courage to be a brighter light as well, and then those two lights can join together and reach even more people. But also it's the light that shines and points the way, because when we have a power outage and we're using that flashlight, we're using that flashlight to guide people. People are like moths to light. When we're in a power outage, we want to go towards that light. Whether it's the fireman who's going through and saying, "Hey, fire department," whether it's the policeman who's going looking around for the bad guy, whether it's the parent or sibling who's looking for their family member in the darkness, trying to guide them to safety. All of those situations, they are being guided. And in the case of the policeman who's trying to find the bad guy that's hiding, that light exposes them. That's why they're hiding in the first place. They don't want to be exposed. And so they're going to try and find that darkest place that they can in hopes of hiding. But as soon as the light from that flashlight hits, they're exposed. They're no longer hidden. they're found. And it's the same with us. The more we resist that light and try and hide in the darkness, that light is going to find us eventually, and it's going to expose. In fact, Jesus says in, I know it's in John. Let's see. Light exposes John. We're going to look this up. There we go, John 3. So let's go to John 3 ESV. There we go. John 3, 19 through 21. Actually, let's go with 18. Let's go with 16. We're going to read 16 through 21. Now, at this point, Jesus is talking to Nicodemus. He says, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have eternal life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but in order that the world might be saved through him. Whoever believes in him is not condemned, but whoever does not believe is condemned already, because he has not believed in the name of the only Son of God. And this is the judgment. The light has come into the world, and people loved the darkness rather than the light, because their works were evil." Now let's pause there. The people loved the darkness rather than the light because their works were evil. They wanted to hide their evil deeds in the darkness. That's why they loved the darkness, because as long as they were in the darkness, they could do whatever they wanted. For everyone who does wicked things hates the light and does not come to the light, lest his work should be exposed. Exactly. That's exactly right. They're hiding because they know what they're doing wrong. They know they're doing wicked deeds. They hate the light because they don't want their evil deeds to be exposed. They don't want to be caught. 21. But whoever does what is true comes to the light, so that it may be clearly seen that his works have been carried out in God. So when we're in that darkness and we're hiding, that light is eventually going to come, and it's going to expose who we really are. It's going to expose those deeds, both good and bad. If you're doing the bad stuff, you're going to hate it when that light shines on you, because you're going to be like, I was caught. If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you're going to love that light. Because now you're like, oh wow, he sees me. You're going to, instead of a, oh no, he sees me, it's going to be a, he sees me. You know, you're going to be glad. Matthew 10:34. Do not think that I came to bring peace on earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. I want to look into that one. I want to look into the commentary on that one, because that is a good point. So, gotquestions.org. Matthew 10:34 through 36 describes Jesus telling the disciples that he came not to bring peace to the world, but a sword. Jesus' sword was never a literal one. In fact, when Peter took up a sword to defend Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus rebuked him and told him to put away his sword, for all who draw the sword will die by the sword, Matthew 26:52. Why then did Jesus say, "Do not suppose that I have come to bring peace to the earth"? I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. What kind of sword did Jesus bring? Among the names of Jesus Christ is that of Prince of Peace. Such verses as Isaiah 9:6, Luke 2:14, and John 14:27 make it clear that Jesus came to bring peace. But that peace is between the man and God. Those who reject God in the only way of salvation through Jesus, John 14:6, will find themselves perpetually at war with God. But those who come to him in repentance will find themselves at peace with God, Because of Christ's sacrifice, we are restored to a relationship of peace with God. Romans 5:1. Still, it is inevitable that there will be some conflict between good and evil. The Christ and the Antichrist, the light and the darkness, the children of God, believers, and the children of the devil, those who refuse Christ. Conflict must arise between the two groups, and this can and does happen within the family, of which some are believers and others are not. We should seek to be at peace with all men, but should never forget that Jesus warned that we will be hated for his sake. Because those who reject him hate him, they will hate his followers as well. In Matthew 10:34-36, Jesus said he had not come at this time to bring peace to the earth, but a sword, a weapon which divides and severs. As a result of his visit to the earth, some children would be set against their parents, and a man's enemies might be those within his own household. This is because many who choose to follow Christ are hated by their family members. That is a very good point, because how many times do we see people of other religions being shunned by their family for becoming a Christian? How many times do we see that happen? And that breaks my heart when that happens. This may be part of the cost for discipleship, for love of family should not be greater than the love of the Lord. A true disciple must take up his cross and follow Jesus, Matthew 16:24. He must be willing to face not only family hatred, but also death, like a criminal carrying his cross to follow Jesus, or to his own execution. True followers of Christ must be willing to give up, even to the point of hating all that is in our lives, even our own families, if we are to be worthy of him, Matthew 10:37-39. In doing so, we find our lives in return for having given them up to Jesus. So essentially, when he says he hasn't come to bring peace but a sword, it sounds like what he's saying is there will be division. Because rather than everybody singing Kumbaya, we're going to be seeing hatred between family and within family members. We're going to see hatred between friends. We're going to see hatred between people of differing religions. And that's not peace. Yes, we're supposed to do what we can to be at peace with everybody, but that doesn't mean that there won't be conflict because of what we believe. And that makes a lot of sense. Let's get caught up on chat here. Treasure Chest says, mostly stuff with Lux and on your own and work. So what's going on? Is there, I know you're wanting to join one of the teams. Is that becoming a source of stress for you or something? What's going on there? Good morning, Caitlin! Thank you for the lurk, Techie! Everything that is hidden will eventually be revealed in the light. You learned that the hard way when you didn't say anything about secret spending at gas stations until one day the Holy Spirit revealed it unto someone and you got busted for it. Happened just last year. Also reminds you of Hebrews 4:12. Ooh. Yes, for the word of God is living and active, sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing of soul and spirit. That is so true, soul. That is so true. That is a fantastic connection there. I hadn't put those two together. Beautiful connection. Oh, is it gaming, Treasure? Is it setting up game rooms and stuff like that? Not quite learning League of Legends as fast as you had hoped? But yeah, it's one of those things where the more that we live our lives for him, sometimes that means more conflict. In fact, a lot of times that means more conflict. Because it's so contrary to the world. And those that are of the world rather than of God aren't going to like us all the time because of it. They're not going to understand us. And that's hard for those of us who are recovering people pleasers and those of us who simply want to be understood. Those of us who simply wish that everybody could see things the way that we do. And it's hard, but at the same time, we also know that, like Hebrews 4:12 says, it'll come, like, it's the word of God is living and active, and it's sharper than any two-edged sword. And it'll pierce to the dividing of soul and spirit. And so it's one of those things that we need to be aware of that. We need to be looking and seeing what God is showing us and showing others in their lives. Be willing to listen so that we can see it working in their lives. We can see what kind of heart soil that they have. And those are beautiful, beautiful moments. It's been in voice chat and just in general chat and issues with League. Well, if you want to talk about it, feel free to send a message. Feel free to message me and I'll check in with you later. Because if there's something that we can do to help out, that I'll do what I can to help you out. I know sometimes that general chat can get to where it's just, flowing really quick, and sometimes messages just get lost in the shuffle. Sometimes it just is one of those things where messages are flowing, and it's just like how it can be on Twitch sometimes, where messages just kind of get lost in the crowd. And it's part of why I'm so glad that I'm one of the smaller streamers, because I can keep up with my chat in general. I can make sure that nobody's message gets lost in the shuffle. The bigger streamers, it gets harder and harder to make sure that we're not, that we're not getting, essentially becoming a number. So, yeah, I'm gonna try and be there for at least a little bit of tonight. I'm seeing a movie with my mom and some friends tonight, and I thought that we were gonna be going at an earlier time than we are. And it turns out Mom has a car show, so she got the later showing because she wasn't sure how late the car show would go. So I'm like, oh no, I want to try and make at least a little of it. Actually, it's, what's it called? It's one about Elvis. Let me see if I can pull that up. She sent me a photo. It's called Epic. And it's about Elvis, but I do want to see I Can Only Imagine too. Hey, Chovy! How's it going? Hope you're doing well. I'm doing well too. It's gonna be a good day today. Thank you for the lurk, Mike. You just saw I Can Only Imagine 2 last night? I want so badly to see it because I loved I Can Only Imagine 1. And I loved I Still Believe. That particular studio makes such good movies, and it's Christian movies done right. Yeah, it's the story behind Even If the I know you're able and I know you can save through the fire with your mighty hand, but even if you don't, my hope is in the Lord. It's the story behind that one. Right? Isn't that such a good song? That's one of my favorites of theirs too. You want to watch it again? I'm so excited to see it. Dude, Soul, maybe you and I need to go and see it together at some point. let's see, what is next Friday? Next Friday's the 27th. Maybe sometime next weekend? You heard him share the story before, but a movie retelling of it does sound intriguing, right? We do, Treasure Chest, we do. Should be free next weekend? Yes! I will definitely keep you posted. And I'm pretty sure I should be free next weekend. Those words, even if, they need to replace what if, because there is no what if with God. Exactly. I think we sometimes see when we go with that more what if route, that's fear talking. That is the, but what if things don't go the way I want them to go? Rather than submitting to God's will. Yes, I am too. I might even see if I can get my pastor's daughter to join us too, because that would be so much fun for the three of us to go see it together. Because if it works, what we could technically do is, I'm hopeful that we'll have everything moved out of the upstairs guest room. And if anything, we should have the downstairs guest room ready by next weekend. Because we finished our flooring project! We've got the downstairs refloored, so now it's time to just kind of get everything moved back to where it belongs. Oh, that's true. Homework is always the question mark. One of the instructors frustratingly does not give us the weekend to work on stuff. That's a good point. Oh, thank you, Treasure. We will make sure to bring some Kleenex. Thanks for the heads up. Because I was thinking I could always like pick you up Thursday, but then I remembered that you have class kind of late. But we could make that work. We could still make that work. We could meet you back at your place after class. Give you time to, gather up your stuff and everything. Or, if you're comfortable, only if you're comfortable, from your campus, it's a straight shot under the freeway to that one major road that starts with S. Make a right, take S all the way down to, we'll call it 2nd C, make a right. Yeah, we can text about it later. There's ways to get there, all surface streets where you wouldn't necessarily have to be on the freeway, because even I get kind of nervous on the freeway sometimes. And thank you, Mike. It took a good 4.5 to 5 days, and so it was crazy. The house looked like a tornado went through it. So now it's more, we've started putting things back where they belong. And it's so nice to be able to, what am I thinking? What word am I thinking of? Just sit down. It's nice to have a space to sit. It was so good to be able to just sit on a couch and enjoy breakfast today. Oh yeah, D&D later. Is that the... Oh, that's on Friday, not on Saturday. Are we thinking... Did we say the 27th or the 28th for... We said the 27th, didn't we? How's it going, Dusty? I'm gonna text our group chat real quick. I just realized that the 27th is a Friday. I will be there on time as the other game is on Saturdays. You'll love my description of myself, Soul. You'll love my description of myself. As far as going on the freeway, my first freeway driving experience was 6 o'clock in the morning, and it was raining. And my driving instructor was like, "Yep, you're going, let's go." And I'm like, "Oh, it's raining and it's dark, and how do I turn on the windshield wipers?" The only thing that kept me from a panic attack was the fact that I knew he had a chicken break. March 28th for LOTR, tentatively, depending on Viola's availability. Got it. I will definitely bear that in mind. Gonna eat breakfast and work on stuff before you chat with Fire later today. Nice! Fire's cool. He's in my Bible study with Saint Bear. Good morning, Kirby! Been having an amazing time lately. Been watching Mario Tennis Fever live streams and found them to be very entertaining, even though you're bad at sports games. Gonna move in with the family. The potential family you met was really nice, and you have a lot in common. Your cousin blessed you with buying you paper products, medicine, and a TV antenna. Your antenna picks up CBS, Catchy Comedy, Fox, and Antenna TV. Nice! Watching the last 2 days of Olympics, Dusty? I love it. Love it. I love it. That is so cool, Kirby. I hope that transition goes well, and that the family is everything that you hope it would be. That is fantastic. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh man, that'll be so good. That'll be so good. Yeah, Soul, if you need a ride for D&D, I could come over and pick you up after stream. We could go to grab a bite to eat on the way home. We can like drive through somewhere. And then go to D&D or go to my place, spend some time there. And then go to D&D, and then either stay the night, and I'll drive you home after stream on Saturday, or if we decide we want to watch I Can Only Imagine 2, then I can drive you home after that. Because I'm pretty sure by then we should have at least the downstairs guest room free. Now, fair warning, the downstairs bathroom currently does not have a toilet because we are replacing said toilet because, the toilet was like 20-something, like 10 or 15 years old, and so it was kind of on its last leg, so we're like, while we're replacing the flooring, let's replace that toilet too, so we still have to replace that. So, if you end up sleeping downstairs, bathroom will be upstairs. Lunch is your treat sounds good. Every once in a while, I have some good ideas. That'll be good. So let me just confirm. With Mom, and I'll text you later. Right? We do have 2 upstairs baths, but the second one is in Mom and Dad's room. So, yeah, the one that you typically use when you come over will be available. So, but right now, the upstairs guest is storage. It is currently storage, and Mom plans to slowly start going through stuff. Kind of just seeing where, like, what do we want to keep? What can we get rid of? That kind of thing. And so, oh, that reminds me. I need to take pictures. Remind me at 11:30. Take pictures of French books for Cassie.
Okay, I've added take pictures of French books for Casey for this morning at 11:30.
Perfect. Thank you, Siri. Second one that visitors like you typically use. Yes. Yes. So the one, yeah, you know exactly which one. But yeah, so we have all of that, and hopefully, going through stuff slowly and moving things downstairs as we kind of go through them. So yeah, let's go into a time of prayer, and then it'll be time for some Sasazuka Saturday. I love that it actually worked with the alliteration. I love the alliteration that I'm able to do with Sasazuka Saturday. So let's go ahead and pray, and then I'm gonna run ad break while I run to the restroom and run downstairs and get a drink of water, or a cup of water, because I forgot to grab it, if I'm being completely honest. And then we'll dive in. So if you have any prayer requests, please feel free to drop them either in chat or use the one channel point redemption, please pray for me, and I will be more than happy to pray for you. Dear Lord, thank you so much for today. I pray for each and every person here, those that are lurking, those that are chatting, those that are going to come later, and those who aren't able to make it as well, Lord. I ask that you just bless each and every person here. I ask that you just help them to feel your presence more today than they did yesterday. I ask that you be with Soul, be with her dad's health, and the biopsy next month. Let it reveal answers. I ask that you be with her driving and help her get more adjusted to driving and get that driving anxiety down a little bit to that more tolerable level. I ask that you be with her classes, that you help her be able to understand everything that's being taught. I ask that you be with STL. I ask that you just be with the cardiologist that he's going to be meeting with and give answers. Let the procedure that he'll be going through, I think he said, go well and be successful. Help his headaches to go away, Lord. Give answers for that. And just help him as he continues to recover from that small minor stroke, Lord. I ask that you be with Lotu and her family. I ask that you just give them a miracle for their little girl. Lord, I ask for wisdom and guidance and direction for Kat, for Bearded Beowulf, for Legend of Zyro. I ask that you just be with each of them and fulfill their desire for wisdom. I ask that you be with Spark and her family, Lord, and their unspoken. Be with Kishu and her family, and Shopkeep and Nugget and Corn Chip, and just keep all of them close to you and their unspoken as well. I ask that you be with Coco and her family as they mourn the loss of her grandma. I ask that you be with just each and every person who needs your healing touch, whether from illness or injury. Be with anybody who's struggling mentally, Lord. Keep us close to you. Let us have a continued great time of fellowship today, Lord. I ask that you just bless this time. Help me to be a light in this dark place. Be with my extended family's unspoken situation, Lord. And also just thank you that the flooring project went as well as it did, Lord. I ask all of this in your name. Amen. All right, let's run ads. Where's my... There it is, 60 seconds of ads. All right, I will be right back. we are back. Let me switch over to just chatting. Make sure that is still good to go. Yep. And Soul, we have confirmation you are able to come over next weekend. We should have the downstairs guest all set up. There we go. That's ready to go. Yeah, no problem. Oh, what am I doing? I was just about to retype in just chatting for the category. And what we'll do is it'll just be a little bit shorter of a stream next Saturday, just so that way I can get you back to your place, and then I can get across to the D&D session. But that will also depend on if he needs to cancel again, because he canceled this week because he's planning out next week's session, which would have been this week's session, but he needed more time to get everything all prepped. So we'll see how it all pans out as far as timing. Alright, the load has been completed. After I exited the room, I was immediately greeted by the sight of Yanagi wearing a worried look on his face. Oh, I almost forgot. There we go. Are you guys able to hear him? Because for some reason I'm not. Could just be I've got my volume down a little too low. Okay, you're able to hear. There it is. I just had my computer volume too low. Yes, maybe. He's sleeping soundly now. Yanagi, thank you so much. I wouldn't have been able to handle that alone. Yes, I've already contacted my brother, and besides, I'm worried too. Yeah, that's fair. He is speaking at a quieter volume, but I also had my computer volume down at about half, and I've got the in-game audio on the app I'm using for my capture card at about 53, so that could have also affected it. Like, that would have been like quarter volume, essentially. Yanagi, do you have something you need to tend to? Please, just leave it to me. I'm Sasazuka's partner, you know. Yanagi smiled for me. Huh? What is it? You did say that. But I don't regret it one bit. After following the August incident, I'm glad I chose to investigate with Sasazuka. I'm sorry for causing you to worry so much, Yanagi. Yes, thank you. After saying that, Yanagi left the office. I really wanted to know what was the matter. I received help from Yanagi after calling him, and we brought Sasazuka back to the office. We didn't find anything abnormal from him losing consciousness, so we decided to just let him rest up for the time being. I'll check on him often and be here to take him to the hospital should anything happen. I only knew Sasazuka as an arrogant, supremely confident person, so seeing him collapse was a pretty big shock. Huh? While shaking, Sasazuka clung onto me with a death grip. Lose? What is he talking about? I had no idea what it could be. I wonder if he'll tell me after he wakes up. He probably wouldn't wake up for a while, though. It'd be better if he had something to eat when he did wake up. I decided to head to a convenience store near the office. I bought some drinks and a light meal and returned to the office to find that Sasazuka was still sound asleep. What should I do? With nothing to do but wait, I turned on the TV and kept the volume low. The late-night news was reporting on the Metropolitan Office bombing and the escape and recapture of Soda. The bombing claimed 3 victims. All of them were situated in important posts of the Board of Education and Ministry of Education. I wonder if Sarah really did that. Just the thought of that made me feel down. No matter how suspicious he was, a part of me wanted all of this to not be true. But if I were to say this, Sasazuka would just say I'm naive. Huh? I heard a sound in the back room. I wondered if Sasazuka had somehow woken up already. I quickly stood up from my seat and headed to the room in the back. But Sasazuka came out before I made it there. That's the first thing he asks? He's been arrested and he's in police custody. It's fine now. Never mind that. Are you okay, Sasazuka? I know that, but it was impossible for me to carry you back alone, so I had Yanagi's help. He mumbled that he'd have to thank him later. I tried to get Sasazuka to come to the sofa. I have some drinks and I got you a light meal. Would you like some? Sure. He just woke up, so he's still a bit groggy. I handed him a drink and then reached out a hand towards his forehead. Nothing. I just wanted to see if you have a fever. All right. The room was silent except for the faint din of the TV. I continued to stare at Sasazuka. Sasazuka, on the other hand, refused to look either at me or the TV. He wasn't looking anywhere in particular. This is awkward. I'm sorry. I'm just worried. It's no trouble at all. That's not going to be possible. Sasazuka looked at me annoyed. Defeated, he sighed and stood up. Sasazuka? Huh? You shouldn't. What if you catch a cold? But that last line meant he intended to tell me his circumstances. My eyes widened at his response. Sasazuka made to leave, so I quickly followed after him. Please wait. At least put on your coat. It's pretty cold outside. Sasazuka seemed more meek than usual. He put his coat on his shoulders and exited. As soon as we were on the roof, he let it out. I didn't know whether I should hear this. Ichika, he's trying to let you in and help you understand him. You need to hear this. But nothing would move forward unless I did. While still hesitant, I asked, "What is this trauma? Did you have a bad gun-related incident?" Sasazuka nodded and answered, "Oh." Huh? But this was completely unexpected. I took a deep breath. Sasazuka looks up at the dark sky. In fact, I should probably let that last line replay. Okay, slight echo to the game. Okay. We'll try that. What I can also do is turn that all the way down there. Is that better? Okay. So then let's try turning up the Elgato. Back to where it was. Okay, but the echo is gone. Okay. So let me turn up Elgato a little more.
そいつは銃を持ってた。鉢合わせて目が合った瞬間、そいつが俺に向けて銃を構えた。俺は驚いて動けなかった。そしたら突然横から突き飛ばされた。同時に発砲音がした。気づいたら血まみれの母さんが倒れてた。何が起こったのかわからなかった。撃ったやつはすぐに逃げていった。俺は母さんを何度も呼んだ。母さんは口から血を吹き出しながら、それでも俺に向かって笑った。よかったって、そう言った。俺が無事でよかったって、それだけ言って死んでいった。
Oh, that's awful.
どれだけ呼んでも目を開けなかった。気づいたら周りには人だかりができて、パトカーのサイレンが聞こえてた。運が悪かったんだって後で言われたよ。しばらく後で犯人は捕まった。日系アメリカ人で未成年の男だった。
Hey, how's it going, Mad Mama?
リトルギャングの抗争だったらしい。バッグに大物がついてたせいで大した刑にもならなかった。きっとそいつは今も普通にどこかでのうのうと生きてる。
Oh, that's great. What's been some of the highlights? I'm good. I am good. We are working to solve a mystery, and we are getting to know more about our detective partner Sasazuka.
だけど俺は忘れない。
Doing really well though. Busy, but
絶対に
good.
忘れられない。あの時の発砲、母さんが残した言葉、地面に広がっていった血の赤い海。
Oh no. Is everybody okay?
今でもたまに夢に見る。それが俺のトラウマ。
He spoke clinically, detached, as if it didn't happen to him, making it sound even more painful. Oh, yes. Lord, we ask that you be with Treasure Chest. We ask that you just help her get everything done that she needs to get done. Help her with all of the stuff at work and Lux and in her other areas of her life as well, Lord. Just give her strength, Lord, and energy. In your name I pray. Amen.
前に俺が言ったこと覚えてるか？殺してやりたいほど憎んでるやつがいるって。
Yes?
実際殺そうとしたんだよ。俺は刑務所から出所するタイミングを狙って本気で殺すつもりでいた。でもできなかった。奴のいる組織のガードが固くて、素人の俺には付け入る隙もなかった。その後もどうにかして奴の足取りを追おうとしたけど、ハッキング程度じゃ闇社会の真相までは探れなかった。わかるか？結果として実行に至らなかっただけで、俺には明確な殺意があったんだよ。もし今犯人が目の前にいたら、きっとまた殺してやりたいと思うだろうな。
Sasazuka said that with a sarcastic smile.
俺は銃と銃社会を許す世界が嫌いだ。日本に戻ってきたのはそのせいだった。銃刀法がある日本でなら二度とあんな思いはしなくて済むって。なのに現実はこれだ。そもそも俺が警察に入ろうと思ったのは、世間で何度か銃刀法の廃止が議論されるようになったのがきっかけだった。
You've temporarily moved. Okay, so everyone's fine. You've temporarily moved out. Have to clean the house. So much paint. Just lots to do. We think the animals got on the stove. God spared so much. Oh, and repaint. Yeah, just lots to do. Yeah, that's for sure. We've been getting the downstairs refloored and got that finished yesterday. It took about 5 days. About 4.5 to 5 days. And it's been kind of crazy. But yeah, we're definitely praying for you. Lord, we just ask that you be with Mad Mama's farm and her family, that they're able to repair their house from this kitchen fire, that they can get all the repainting done that needs to get done, that they can replace anything that needs replaced, Lord. And we just thank you that they are okay. We just thank you for that, Lord, that it wasn't any worse than it was. We ask all of this in your name. Amen. Lady, lady foes, the one that loves the most. How you doing? Crocheting a Friends-inspired blanket. Tell me more about this. Tell me more about this. All right, Mad Mamas, you drive safely. So glad you got off work. And hope it was a good work day.
そんなことされるくらいなら銃が使われる前に犯罪者をあぶり出してガンガン逮捕しちまえばいいと思った。だから警察のスカウトに乗った。まさかそれから1年も持たずにあんな形で銃刀法が解除されるとは。
Aw, you got to snuggle a baby? Oh, that's the best. That is the best. Sounds good, treasure chest. Aw, I bet that made your day, Mad Mamas.
俺が守りたかったものが壊れたならもう警察にいる意味もないと思ってすぐに辞めた。だから俺には正義なんてない。警察に入ったのも辞めたのも結局は俺の都合でしかない。お前に散々偉そうなこと言っといて一皮むいたらこれだ。幻滅しただろ。
No, because it's acknowledging these things, Sasazuka. That's important. You are being honest with Ichika. You're being honest with yourself. That's the important thing. Communication. Of course not. I managed to shake my head. I would never be. Ever.
あ、そう。
Oh, he so doesn't believe us. He totally does not believe us.
やっぱバカだなお前。ウルトラバカ。
No, we're not. I don't care if I'm an idiot. Besides, Sasazuka, you're many times worse.
はあ
You tried to protect me.
Oh.
You jumped in front of someone with a gun and then you deliberately instigated him. I think you were taunting him too much, but if your goal was to divert Soda's attention away from me, it would at least explain things.
自意識過剰。
No, no, we're trying to understand why this guy with PTSD regarding a gun-related incident would put himself in that situation. That's fine, but Sasazuka looked straight at me. Oh. I get the feeling I won't apologize might be the better option? Maybe? We get to do deductive reasoning with Donna. Yeah, I agree. It definitely seems like it's a defense mechanism. He's like trying to deflect and make it more about her versus, oh wow, I was just honest with her. Like, I just, like, poured my heart out to her, and I'm not normally like that. I don't know, I feel like I won't apologize. I think that one's gonna lead to I won't apologize for, like, trying to... Like, I won't apologize for protecting you. I won't apologize for trying to get to know you better. Ado's saying the opposite of everything I'm saying. He doesn't believe us, and Ado's like, yes he does. Sounds good. Good night, baby foes. Auntie Donna loves you. Sleep well, Bubba. Alright, before I make my final decision, more like emotional reasoning with Donna in this case, that's fair. Before I make a final decision, do I need to save? Because I get the feeling if she says... Okay, cool. Because I get the feeling if she says, I won't thank you, then that's going to do a lot more harm than good. Because she's going to be like, I won't thank you for saving me. I won't thank you for putting yourself in that position. I think if she goes, I won't apologize for protecting you. I won't apologize for, you know, doing what I could to make sure you were safe. That's going to go a lot more with him. Hey, how's it going, Mountain? You just got one of the best dunkers in NBA history in NBA 2K26. Your team for free Gary Payton? Oh man, Gary Payton. I'm trying to remember which team he plays for. Not an immediate bad end here. Okay, if that's what I mean. Okay. I just want to make sure that not necessarily the immediate bad end, but that I'm at least tracking correctly, but I also know you're not going to spoil anything for me per both of our requests. Him with Sean Kemp, your lineup is going hard. He originally played for the Sonics. Okay, when they still existed. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with my initial gut reaction. And go with I won't apologize. You told Lady Foes I was playing an adult game. She doesn't believe you? Let me know when Lady Foes is back. Let me know when she's back. Ah, Kemp played for the Sonics too. Cool. I won't apologize. Even though I didn't know, I pulled out a gun right in front of you. It wasn't a mistake to take the shot. Had I not done that, then you would have gotten shot.
それは
In that situation, you were obviously taunting Soda way too much. I know that was to divert his attention away from me.
別に
You're playing Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Nice! You guys. I am so excited. The Star Trek Voyager game that Admiral of Kratos told me about released a few days ago, and I bought it. And I am so excited to play it. We might take a little bit of a break from Indiana Jones to kind of dive into Star Wars, especially since I'm possibly a little bit stuck in what to do with Indiana right now. I want to kind of get a feel for what I'm supposed to do so I'm not constantly dying on stream. But I definitely want to make sure that I dive a little bit into the Star Trek Voyager game because that was my show growing up. It's not that I'm not happy that you tried to protect me, but I didn't want to see you get shot in front of my eyes either. That was an error of judgment. As your partner, I have to denounce that decision. Ooh, I haven't! So there's... I know I have Star Wars Jedi... Survivor. Jedi Star Wars Survivor. And I want to play that one. That one's on my backlog. Company Zero. Ooh. I might need to look into that one, especially if you're excited about it, because you and I kind of have similar taste in sci-fi games. The remake for Knights of the Old Republic should be late 2026 or 27. Nice! You're rebuilding the Sonics with the best player possible. In this challenge set, you can get 200 cards for free by completing random challenges. Nice! I remained steadfast in my opinion. An annoyed look started to creep into Sasazuka's face, and he looked away.
あの錯乱具合じゃまともに照準も合わねえだろうと思ったんだよ。
Even if he has the aim of a stormtrooper, because of how erratic he was acting, it still could have hit you, Sasazuka.
最悪一発くらい食らっても死なねえと思った。
You're being far too reckless.
うるせえな。最終的には無事だったんだからいいだろう。
I won't apologize.
俺だって謝らねえよ。
But you should.
うるせえ、調子乗んなバカ。
Why do I get the feeling I chose poorly?
でもまあ謝らねえと。
I spoke too soon! Affection up! Yes! I chose wisely! You're working on earning Alien Inversion, or earning Alan Iverson. You're 41 out of 69 challenges complete. Back periodically, if Baby Foes wakes up, you gotta run. That's totally fair. You were just gonna say. Oh man. So, Lady Foes, I hear you don't believe that this is a more grown-up game. Here's the box. It is, in fact, a mature-rated game. It's not often I play more grown-up games, but this one Soul introduced me to, and I was like, I need to play this, and it'll be a perfect stream game. Oh, that's not what he meant by adult game? Oh, gotcha. Gotcha. There is quite a bit of romance in it. But it doesn't, like, go into detail or anything like that. I think it's more M because of the events surrounding the story. Made it home away from home for lunch. After lunch, it's time to go home and work. There you go! Sounds good. I'm glad you got there safely. You got Steph Curry for getting all the shooting challenges done, Allen Iverson for heatwave scoring, Kevin Garnett for defense, and Blake Griffin for slashing. There you go. Ichiko was correct here, and I love how she handled it. Me too, honestly. And that's why I was kind of surprised by the ending, but yet I could also see him getting defensive. And I think I spoke too soon because I was just a little taken aback by how defensive he got and just how kind of tit for tat it was, as far as like they both kind of escalated at pretty much the exact same time. And so I was like, oh no, does that mean that I chose wrong? Oh, when do I want to learn how to do a corner to corner? We could do... Next Saturday, I'm going to have to do a bit shorter of a stream, most likely. So why don't we plan for... It might not take me too long to grasp that corner to corner, but I want to make sure that I'm giving you the most, bang for your buck time-wise. So either, if you think it's something I'd be able to pick up quickly, we could totally do it next week during the shorter Saturday stream, and we'll just kind of do a quick little prayer time at the beginning and dive in to learning how to do corner to corner. Or, if you would rather, we can wait until week after next. Just Sasazuka being a difficult little gremlin. I love it. I love that nickname. It's a bunch of double crochets. Okay, let's plan on next Saturday. And what we can do is I'll just end roughly half an hour early. Let's do it. Next Saturday it is. You're running one heck of a marathon to get your boys, but your team's overall average is 96. I love it. That's totally fair, Lady Foes. Let's totally do next Saturday. And it'll be perfection. There won't be a next time. Answer me.
わかったよ、うるせえな。
Jeez. Sasazuka remained as stubborn as ever, so I simply sighed.
まあ、とりあえずそういうわけだ。今後も俺が自分で銃を持つことはない。
I have Marvel Strike Force kind of on my list to look at. I just currently have so many games in my backlog, I'm hesitant to really add a whole lot more to it. Next Saturday, let's see, that would be the 28th. Do we want to say... maybe 9 o'clock or 8:30 my time? Either 8:30 or 9 o'clock my time, which would be 9:30 to 10 o'clock your time, so about half an hour to an hour into stream time. Oh, Saltyzuka, Sassyzuka, they both work. When it comes to sports stuff, you're very competitive. I love it. Oh, I would totally add you, Addo, if I actually had it on my list. If I actually owned the game. It's on my list of ones to check out once I've kind of worked through my backlog a little bit. If we can, 9:30 my time to 10:30. Okay, sounds good. That's when Baby Foes goes down for a nap? Perfect. That'll give me time to ease into stream, and then we'll get everything all set up. And that still leaves about an hour for us to do crochet stops. And it'll be perfect. Oh no, I made Addo cry. Sorry, Addo. Tell you what. Let's do this. I'm going into my Steam app. Oh, it's not on Steam? I should get it. Your shoulder was dislocated, but most of the way healed. That's good. It's a long-term grind game, so if you start playing, try to invest in Marvel team like Captain America, Hulk, Thor, etc. Okay. Let's look in my app store then. Oh, okay. Oh, he did. He did, and I totally missed it. I totally missed that. I totally missed that. So tell you what. Here we go. You ready? It is downloading. Downloading. So we will see. We will check it out at some point. I just know that if I get too invested, all of my money is going to go into it, and I don't want that. I'll add you too, Mama. Mad Mamas. Aw, good. Good. Can't wait to get back to your job and getting ready for Battle of the Badges. You'll be boxing the police department on March 6th for charity. Okay, Addo said spend no money. Okay. You got it. You got it. Because I noticed it said in-app purchases available, so I'm like, Play for free. You got it. You're free to play? Perfect.
お前が持ってんのも正直見たくねえのが本音だけど、そこは目をつむる。
Tell you what, as soon as I get it all set up, I will definitely add you and Mad Mama's farm. Sasazuka, are you holding something back?
してねえよ。今の新宿で丸腰のまま操作できると思うほどボケてもいね。
Ah, benefits tunnel to towers. I like it.
だから俺のことは気にするな。あと、俺が倒れたことも忘れろ。仕方ねえから事情は説明したけど、同情されたいわけじゃねえから。
Sasazuka played it tough, but allowing me to see that vulnerable side of him must have been painful. So I quietly nodded. The tension seemed to lessen there, and then, in the next instant... Sounds good!
お話は終わったようですね。
Uh-oh. Adonis is speaking. Huh? A voice suddenly emanated from the collar and made me freeze.
何の用だ？
星野一花さん、相田学を見事逮捕したその腕、実に素晴らしかったですよ。悪を前にしてためらわず撃つ。あなたの正義が偽りでなかったことを心から嬉しく思っています。
My sense of justice?
ええ、やはりあなたは我々の理想を叶えるにふさわしい人だと再確認しました。
Oh, that's not good. I mean, it could be good, in that they're at least not gonna kill her right away. But it's not good that the bad guys consider her worthy. Like, that's... Its mission is to provide mortgage-free homes and mortgage payoffs for our nation's catastrophically injured veterans and first responders. Gold Star and fallen first responder families with young children. I love that!
随分と余裕だな。仮にも自分の手駒が捕まったっていうのに。それとも、駒は所詮駒でしかないってことか。
彼はもう自分の役割を終えています。復讐も叶った。それだけのことです。
No, I don't think she did.
その分じゃソーダを聴取したところで、アドニスには何の痛手もないと思ってそう
だな。そうですね。なんなら試してみるといい。我々は一向に構いません。それより、笹塚健さん。我々はあなたにもアドニスに来ていただきたい。
No. Sorry, but no. Sorry, not sorry. Huh?
どういう意味だ？
先ほどのお話は聞かせてもらいました。あなたもまた悲しみを抱く人だ。
You added like all the Marvel movies, Batman cartoons and movies, Justice League, Star Wars Clone Wars, The Nanny, Bill Cosby Show, and the Star Wars Clone Wars cartoon. Nice! Sounds like you've added quite a bit. You guys are good to go for movie nights for a long time. That makes me happy.
そして何より未だその悲しみの傷跡は癒えないままその胸にくすぶっている。我々アドニスにはあなたのような被害者が数多くいます。
Oh, that was nice of you, Mountain. I've heard of, I've seen, scrolling through social media and stuff, definitely seen people do that for their fallen brothers and sisters. I love that.
そして我々はあなたの悲しみを消化する方法を知っているのです。
Yeah, Adonis, it's called going to therapy and working through your issues. That's exactly what it is. It's called communication, going to therapy, and working through your issues and getting tools in your tool belt to work through those things. And most importantly, realizing that God is on your side.
笹塚健さん、そこにいる星野さんと共にアドニスに来る気はありませんか？
Mountain therapy is a good thing. I know there's a huge stigma surrounding it still, but it's definitely a beneficial thing. It's something that's very, very much needed for a lot of people. It's good to talk things out with people who give you the tools that you need and can... Because that person is a professional who can give you tools in your tool belt to help you work through anything that you're going through. Your therapist recently gave you homework you didn't want to do. That's, that's something that I've heard a lot about therapists is that they will get right to the root, and that homework can reveal a lot about you. And exactly, like Lady Fo says, it's more than paying someone to listen to you. They give you tools in your tool belt to help you work through. But those night drives, they don't give you tools that you need or might need to help you improve and better handle situations. Those night drives don't always get you to the root cause of what might be causing what you're going, what your negative thought processes and, all those kinds of things might be. Because there's always a root cause. And sometimes we need tools in our tool belt to help us work through and get to that root and cut it off at the source. And that may be the case, but at the same time, there's also other tools that might do better. It's more about getting to the root of what's causing it, because once you've worked through that root, you're cutting it off at the source, rather than waiting until it bubbles up enough that you need to calm down. She opened a can of worms and then said, think about it. Come up with 5 affirmations you can say to yourself every day. In other words, be nice to yourself. Exactly. Those are things that you can do that can help. For some, it's journaling. For some, it's those affirmations. Exactly. It's more than getting calm. Being calm is helpful, and doing those night drives can get you to the point where you're at least calm enough that maybe those tools might be more effective and help you better cope with it. But at the same time, you definitely need to find that trigger and diffuse it. And the night drives can't always help that. And Soul makes a good point too. You want to make sure that the advice that therapist is giving you is legit and biblical, and that they know what they're doing, and you can't be afraid to switch therapists if you need to, because there's could be a lot of reasons to switch therapists. There can be, it can be a personality conflict. It can be they just don't, like, you guys just aren't on the same page for whatever reason. And so don't be afraid if you're going to therapy to switch therapists if it's not the right fit anymore for whatever reason. But you are also right that it does take the discernment of the Holy Spirit to get to the root of what's going on inside of you. You went through 3 therapists before finding your current one. But see, there's a difference between a psychologist and a psychiatrist. The psychiatrist takes care of the, gets more of the medical side of it, and gets you kind of to your baseline as far as like getting all of the hormones and all of that worked out. The psychologist is the one that is going to help you do the work. The therapist is the one that's going to help you do the work that you need to do to get to the root. Your first therapist did no work. She just kept, quote, updating your medical history for 6 sessions. It was a waste of time. Yeah, exactly. And if they're not helping you in any way, forget them. Go to someone else. Yeah, and I'm not saying that you don't have to go to the psychiatrist, because you're right. That is the one that prescribes meds. However, having a therapist in addition to that will help. Thank you for the lurk, Galaxy!
てめえらと一緒にされること自体全くもって不愉快だ。
本当にそうでしょうか。あなたはすでに我々の理念を誰よりも理解しているはずです。
何の話だよ。
他の誰でもなく自分の手で裁く。以前あなたはそう言っていましたね。
That means...
だからだろうな。俺には X デー事件の犯人たちの動機はよく理解できる。その他大勢にとってはただの犯
Hey
罪で
Sam, how's it going?
奴らにとってのそれは正義なんだよ。
And I can understand that, Mountain, that it can be a lot to try and keep all of the things, all of the plates spinning. But the other important thing to remember is therapy doesn't necessarily have to be forever. Yuki Ann, thank you so much for the raid! Thank you, thank you! For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Donna. I am a Christian family-friendly variety streamer. Normally on Saturdays, it is a very chill, cozy vibes. But today we have Sasazuka Saturday. We are going to be learning more about Color X Malice and trying to solve these X-Day crimes. And we're also just kind of talking about the importance of therapy for quite a few people, and that we're trying to combat the stigma that sometimes comes along with it. But yeah, Mountain, I totally understand it's a lot to try and keep all those plates spinning, but at the same time, it doesn't have to be forever. Once you kind of have those tools, and your therapist says, okay, you've done the work, I've done all I can do, or if you feel like you're at a spot where you can use those tools effectively, you can say, hey, let's take a hiatus. Exactly, and that's what I loved about your psychiatrist, was that your psychiatrist realized, yeah, there's some work that these meds can do. They can help keep you even. They can help you, as far as the intensity of those highs and lows with the meds. But also therapy and talking out issues, because sometimes we keep things buried deep and don't realize how they're affecting us. And therapy is really good at getting to the root of those and getting to that deep down stuff that sometimes we don't even remember. Ado got a scammer on the phone. My phone, I have it set up to, if your name or number is not programmed in my phone, it's going to ask and screen that call and ask, who are you and why are you calling? And then it'll ring out to me. Doing okay. Had to involve the cops recently, and it's all chaotic at best lately. I'm doing pretty well. Been busy, but good. What happened that you had to involve the cops? The meds can help stabilize, but you still can have thought patterns that need to be worked on. Exactly, Soul. I completely agree. Your wife's car got totaled recently. Exactly, mental health is important. You've always done the first responder thing and just bury it and deal with it later. Exactly, but when is later going to come? And a lot of times it's burying those things down deep that causes it to fester and bubble, and then we explode. Doing the therapy work is sometimes easier with medication to bring you back to baseline, but the work should still be done nonetheless. Exactly. I agree. I completely agree. And it's one of those things where when you have that proper combination of needed meds and tools that get to the root of your negative thought processes and working through anything in your past, that's when you get the most out of it. Exactly, and sometimes you need to make that time. You need to be like, all right, this is important. It can be as simple as finding somebody who can meet who can meet with you online in a voice chat or in a Zoom call. There are definitely a lot of therapists that'll do virtual visits, and you'll be able to do your chats and your sessions from home. There's some that definitely do that. Exactly. It doesn't fix those triggers. That doesn't get to the root. All that does is make you tired, and it makes it where you're not working through, you're just letting out those emotions, kind of a thing. And it can get you to that Zen spot, but there's more to therapy than just getting you to Zen. Therapy is about doing the work to grow as a human being, to get you to the best version of yourself that you can. It's about getting to the root of those negative thought processes and triggers so that maybe those don't even become triggers anymore. And when they do, you become better able to handle those triggers to the point where you don't need as many of those night drives or the martial arts. Exactly, gives you dopamine but doesn't fix the issue. It's like putting a Band-Aid on. You love messing with them, especially when you give them your information. Your name is Richard. You live at 1337 Donkey Street. I love it.
他の誰でもなく自分の手で裁く。 ましてや法の下ですら裁かれなかった罪なら。
And that's
なおのこと
understandable, and we're not saying that you shouldn't do that. We're just saying therapy in addition to those things can help you. It's a temporary fix. Those things are a band-aid. It's like if you picture a simmering pot, it's briefly lifting the lid so that it doesn't overflow. The problem with this world is no one has emotional intelligence anymore, so the need for therapy has grown. More people go to therapy now because they are not emotionally intelligent. I think it's a mixture of that and people are realizing that there's a lot that they stuff down. There are actually quite a few who specialize in first responders. In fact, one of my friends from high school, he started off as a police officer, and then he realized, there's a huge need for therapists that specialize in first responders, and so he got his psychology degree and his, all the things that he needed to become a therapist, and he specializes in first responders. And so there are people out there who specialize in first responders. You happen to talk to this one person for an odd job offer, and the conversation was normal. Then out of nowhere, for some reason, they thought you're their wife or could be one and wanted to approach you at a whole new level. Got into an argument and left saying nothing, and they gave their personal number and asked to take some time and tell my response. Okay. And then they followed you, took pictures of your house, claiming it's for job purposes, and yeah, that's scary. Good on you for getting the cops involved in that. Sasazuka may have remembered the same thing. He was making a painful expression. They are. People are weird. And that's why therapists are so needed, because it can take getting to the root of what makes you unique, what thought processes you have that you need to let go of that work, and that no longer serve you. Addo, should I play a game? Lady Foes, you are playing a game. Addo, oh yeah. I love that.
勘違いだろ。
そうですか。まあ、一度でうなずいていただけるとは思っていません。気長に勧誘させていただきましょう。
Yeah, Sam, if you're feeling uncomfortable for any reason, you can always get the cops involved. That's what they're there for. Even if you think it was an honest mistake, or their sense of humor, if that makes you uncomfortable and they don't want to listen, you can get the cops involved. That's why they're there. That's why the court system is there. But in order to deal with it yourself, Mountain, you have to have the tools to deal with it. That's the thing. And if you don't have those tools, then all you're left with are band-aids.
また近々別口からご連絡します。星野さん。
And we're by no means trying to force you to go to therapy. We're not saying, Mountain, go to therapy. We're not doing that at all. We're just trying to help you, realize that we recognize that there is a stigma surrounding it, but at the same time, it is very, very needed. For a lot of people. But we're not going to drag you kicking and screaming to a therapist, okay? I promise you that. That has to be your choice. It has to be. We're just saying that you're worth it. And who knows? I totally get that if none of the people that you work with go, they could not realize that they need it. They might not realize that. And so because of that, you know, that might be why they don't go. Maybe they're afraid too. Maybe they think that they have the tools that they need. And maybe you can set a precedent. Who knows? Again, I'm not saying you have to. I completely understand where you're coming from, that it's easy to be like, well, no one else I know does, so, you know, what makes it, you know, why should I if nobody else does? But at the same time, you can be the person that goes to them and says, hey, I have this therapist. If you need to work through anything, if you need to talk through anything, I go. And that's the first step to breaking that stigma surrounding it. You know what I mean? Breaking the stigma surrounding mental health and therapy is realizing that it's normal. You know what I mean? A lot of people, they hear, oh, I'm talking to a therapist, and they automatically jump to that conclusion of, oh no, are you gonna unalive yourself? No, I'm just working through something that I needed tools to deal with. And I needed an outsider's perspective on it. I needed a neutral third party's perspective on it, who could give me the tools that I needed to get to the root of that issue. That's all it is. And those are great, great, great people to have. And they can give you tools. But they're not always necessarily trained in psychology. A therapist is trained in psychology. They can give you, like, yes, talk with your pastor, talk with your sponsor, by all means. Like, those are two amazing, amazing people to go to. But to get those tools that you need, therapy helps. Be like Batman, have tons of tools, especially the fun ones. Exactly. You were really there for taking a job and not a relationship, and you even had to lie to them and say you have a girlfriend and stuff, but they're still not convinced, and it was really awkward. Yeah. And that, you know, like, that, again, Sam, definitely makes you you felt uncomfortable, and that's why you felt you had to lie. So I'm glad you got the police involved in that. Because of your PTSD, depression, and anxiety, your therapist has to ask you at the beginning of every visit if you're thinking of unaliving yourself. I mean, that's fair. You know? Like, depending on the situation, ad break in 1 minute, depending on, you know, the person and their circumstances and what the, you know, policies in place are, they will likely ask you that, depending on what you're dealing with. But at the same time, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to mean that you're struggling with, you know, crippling depression if you're going to therapy. It can simply be, I'm going through a life change and I need help dealing with this life change because I don't deal with change well. You know? It can definitely be that too. You used to skip therapy and even refused to go to one. Due to your disorder and how it was seen, you thought it was best to handle it yourself, but when it was over the limit for you, you had no choice but to seek help. And if you're the one, you're who you are now because of therapy. Exactly. even better if they know the Word of God, like our devotional from this morning. The best tools are the ones based in truth and aligned with Scripture. Yes, and I completely agree with you there. I completely agree with you there. What I'm getting at is if you can combine talking with your pastor who can help you deal with things biblically, if you're struggling with that, but your pastor might not necessarily be equipped to deal with bipolar. Your pastor might not be equipped to help you through, some of the things that a therapist might be better equipped to help you with biblically. You know what I mean? Because there are Christian therapists out there. All right, we'll pick this up in just a minute. Alright, welcome back! You mean reason you don't go is because of how bipolar is typically seen and portrayed. And a good therapist, because bipolar looks so different for everybody, the good therapist is going to get you to the root of that. Get you to the root of your trigger and realize it doesn't present the same for everybody. So while lying in and of itself is typically wrong, in those particular... Let's take a look at this biblically. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let's take a look at got questions, because I love got questions. Is it ever right to lie? The Bible nowhere presents an instance where lying is considered to be the right thing to do. The 9th commandment prohibits bearing false witness, listed as a lying tongue and a false witness who pours out lies, as 2 of the 7 abominations. Love rejoices in the truth. So, there are at least 2 instances in the Bible where lying produced a favorable result. For example, the lie that the Hebrew midwives tell Pharaoh. Exactly. In Exodus, the Hebrew midwives told Pharaoh, oh man, we can't kill them. We can't kill the babies because by the time we get there, the baby's already born. And God blessed them for it. And another example is that Rahab lied to protect the Israelite spies in Joshua. It's important to note that God never condones the lies. Despite the positive results, the Bible nowhere praises the lies themselves. At the same time, it states that it does not state there are instances where it's the right thing to do, but it does not declare there is no possible instance in which lying is an acceptable option. The question then remains, is there ever a time when lying is the right thing to do? The most common illustration of this dilemma comes from the life of Corrie ten Boom in Holland. Essentially, Corrie is hiding Jews in her home to protect them from the Nazi soldiers. The Nazi soldiers come to her home, ask her if she knows where any Jews are hiding. what does she do? Should she tell the truth and allow those Jews to be captured that she was trying to protect? Or lie and deny that she knows anything about them? In an instance such as this, where lying may be the only possible way to prevent a horrible evil, perhaps lying would be the best of the available options. Such an instance would be somewhat similar to the lies of the Hebrew midwives and Rahab. In an evil world and in a desperate situation, it may be the right thing to commit a lesser evil, lying, in order to prevent a much greater evil. But it was one of the best options that you had available at the time. It was you trying to prevent something bad from happening. It's a confusing situation, for sure. I definitely do not think that God is gonna say, no, Sam, you are not, you are not part of my family. He will accept you. He will accept you. You think we're on the same page? You're talking Christian therapist. That's fair. Oh, no worries. No worries at all, Mountain. Honestly, I need to be better about, working on said sweater. I do, Lady Pose, I'm sorry. Since class started back up, I've had so much going on that crochet has honestly taken a back burner. And I feel terrible saying that, but at the same time, I'm like, I need to get back into it. I need to, like, re-look at what what all I'm doing. Spawn of Kratos! How's it going? Sometimes we lie to protect someone, especially kids. Exactly. Exactly. A good therapist won't think less of you and will see the person apart from their mental illness. Sending you all of the hugs! Sending you all of the hugs, Spawn of Kratos. Playing Fae Farm. Nice! How's that going? Been thinking of going back to school for fire science. Nice! You could totally do that. And then, once again, the caller went silent. Sasazuka.
今は余計なこと考えんな。
But
あいつらが何を言おうと、俺たちが事件を追うことには変わりねえだろ。
that's a given. You aren't going to Adonis, are you?
バカか。もう遅いし寒い。戻るぞ。
Yes. I followed behind Sasazuka as he headed to the exit, but I couldn't shake this ominous feeling. To hate someone to the point of wanting to kill. I couldn't comprehend that, but Sasazuka and the person speaking through the collar both did. I believe in him, but I'm scared. My cold body shivered. Going good. You just opened the Fae Realm, and now you've got to do the Fae Realm dungeon thing to progress more. Nice! Is that a challenging thing, or is it pretty easy? You have experience in it, just if you get more book knowledge, you might be better. There you go. I do remember you talking about what you're struggling with as far as your mental disorder. An answer to that question, Sam? Not really, but it can be very cool, because that's where fun games can be even more fun if you like that challenge. Matthew 10:16, Behold, I send you out as sheep in the midst of wolves, so be shrewd as serpents and innocent as doves. Love that. Love that! Even though Soda was arrested again, Rika Sugawara and Akito Sera were still missing right now. Many of the investigators had been sent out to search for them, so only the bare minimum of staff were at HQ.
しかし噂には聞いていましたが、星野さんの射撃の腕は実に見事でしたね。ソーダの手には少し深めの作家賞があるのみでした。
A degree in it isn't needed, but it can help with career advancement. There you go! You did get some fairy wings too for giving Wisp Mother the gemstones that she needed. I love that! When they were free because of that? I love it!
うまく銃だけを弾いてくれたおかげですぐに聴取に取り掛かることができますよ。
I see. I thought that was good. Even if he was a criminal, I didn't want to wound him unnecessarily. I was truly grateful that I had diligently kept up my training.
聴取の進み具合は
Just had to give her some materials for them, but it was easy. I love it! You're debating if you want to move up again? I guess that depends, because I know the further up the ladder you go, I think it becomes more political, right? Like you're kind of more like in the administrative and policies and all that stuff, right? Yeah, Sam, you can talk about it if you want.
残念ながら黙秘です。というより、逮捕後は抜け殻のようで一言も口を聞きません。
Fair enough. Captain is most likely the furthest she'll go. That's totally valid. Totally valid.
携帯返せの言葉さえありません。
そのつもりでやったから。それより峯岸さん、聴取って俺たちにもやらせてもらえんの？
Hey, we're not going to force you to share. You can share whatever you feel comfortable sharing. And whenever you feel comfortable sharing it. After Captain, you'd be on track for Station Chief and the other executive type roles. Gotcha. That's fair. Me too?
横に立ってるだけでいいぞ。変に口挟まれるとめんどくせえから。もう武器もね。
Oh, I keep interrupting. Ah, sorry. Yes.
ソーダはまだ取り調べ室にいます。すぐに会えますが、どうしますか?
You think what Jesus cares about most is our heart position in dangerous situations where we have to protect ourselves or others. If we're prayerful and letting Him lead. Hold on. Then we're on the right track. Exactly. It's about the heart attitude. And sometimes, like in the cases of the Hebrew midwives and Rahab, lying is a kind of almost necessary evil. You know what I mean? Lottie's gotten so big. I love it. She seems to be growing up so fast. Yeah, office politics can be a lot to deal with. Ado just unlocked a childhood memory. Who here used to watch Family Matters? Ado had never heard of Steve transforming into Stefan. You just had to show it to him. Not about forcing, it's just you don't want it to be taken in a way that most people do. And that's fair. That's totally valid. And that's why I'm saying I understand why you're scared. And I don't want to force you to share if you don't feel ready to, but I want you to know that whenever you're ready to share, this is a place you can. You know what I mean? She was so small when you adopted her. Never knew girl kitties were so sassy. When you make the same noises that she makes, she'll talk back. The little Bengal noises. I love it.
行く。あんたはどうすんだ、峯岸さん。
これでも多忙な身ですので、 そちらはお任せします。笹塚くん、報告は後でよろしくお願いします。
了解。
Sasazuka, do you have a plan?
どうだろうな。そうだ次第だろう。それに首輪の言ってたことも気になる。何を聞き出そうが問題ねえってあの態度。
Yes.
とにかくやってみるしかねえ。さっきも言ったが、お前は口を挟むなよ。
Alright. I don't have much experience, so even if I butted in, I doubt I would be able to help. I'll just stay quiet and watch. Just as Minagishi said, Soda is simply looking up into the air as if he's completely out of sorts. I was honestly doubtful that he was even conscious right now. Sasazuka sat down in front of Soda, and I stood behind him. Soda didn't even look at us. But...
よ、翔吾。気分はどうだ
When he was called by his username, I noticed his shoulder twitching.
まともに反応する気力もねえか。無理もねえよな。今のお前には何もない。また新しいゲームでも始めるか。金と時間さえあれば神になるのは簡単なことだもんな。どうせ誰でもいいんだ。お前が助けてやってた連中だって今は俺が作ってやった
Yay! New critter in your almanac! Woo! I love it!
なんなら見せてやろうか。今は俺タケルが神になってるけど。何震えてんだよ。
There we go.
ああ、二度も裏切られたショックで口を開く元気もねえのか。
Your chief sort of looks like Carl Winslow. That's hilarious.
学習しねえよなお前。どこまでバーチャルに依存してんだか。
お前なんか何がわ
かんねえけど、お前と違って俺はリア充の側だから。まあネト銃でもあるけどな。少なくともお前みたいに依存はしてねえし。
死ねよお前なんか。お前みたいなやつがそうやって俺たちを追い詰めるんだ。
You don't like to say it because you've known some wonderful chihuahuas in your life, like Buddy. But Soda reminds me of an angry chihuahua in this scene. I completely agree. He's the chihuahua that is mad at you, so he turns and shows you his better side. And just refuses to acknowledge you until you say the one thing that's going to get him to turn around. And then he's going to go...
どうやって？
人をバカにして。
Oh, you're racing to get that realm dungeon, that Fey realm dungeon complete. You got this! Yes, the vicious chihuahua, until you get within 5 feet of him.
うまくできないからってバカにして。俺だって必死だったのに。
ああ、なるほどな。お前リアルでもいじめられてた口か。いじめがいありそうだもんな、お前。
Oh no, it made you go back to your house and go to bed. Oh, I saw that. Man, it acted fast. That ALS acted fast.
お前の方だ。
I was like, oh my gosh, no, McSteamy! Because while I didn't necessarily fully like McSteamy, I do like Eric Dane as a person, you know? Like, he was a cool dude. And it's sad that he's not with us anymore.
Yeah,
that was a really sad moment when they killed him off. But at least he got to tell Lexi that he loved her before she died. I was honestly devastated with Lexi. and then to have Mark die on top of it, I was like, no! That's true, Robert Duvall died too. He was in Secondhand Lions. That's what I knew him from, was Secondhand Lions. Right? Or all the trauma Christina had? Oh my gosh, yes. Oh, he was having IRL substance issues. At least they gave him the time to go and do the work. Sasazuka doing what he does best, purposely poking the bear to get a rise out of him, right? Ooh, it's actually a multiplayer game. Nice! If I pick up the game, I will definitely let you know. Oh my gosh, Lady Foes, yes. That was my biggest pet peeve with Grey's Anatomy, was how dirty they did Alex. Ugh. I wanted it, literally, all I can say is bruh. In fact, we're gonna do the thing. Where is it? There it is. There it is. Right? He grew so much as a character, and then letters, right? You undid everything. Oh, you didn't hear the bruh? Let's see. I've got sound alerts up at full volume. Huh. Let's see. Let's take a look at the properties. I hear it. You don't. Huh. Maybe if I turn up desktop audio? Okay, it's very quiet. Okay. Was that better? There it is. All right. Was it super loud, or do I need to turn it down? After working with middle schoolers for 2 years, you can easily envision it. It was good. Okay. So then I am going to go ahead and turn down. Let me know if there's a echo with the game, because I had turned down desktop audio because it was causing an echo with the game. So let me know because I can always turn down the Elgato. Soda was completely cowed by Sasazuka and his belittling attitude. His whole body shook, his expression contorted, and it seemed like he was about to cry. There we go, there's the shaking, angry chihuahua! What part of you does? Oh, 25 squats? Alright, let's finish this scene and I'll do those squats.
Are 俺じゃない。
うんうんアリバイがあったから知ってる
Okay, so let me turn down the
でも
Elgato
あれはお
then.
前の復讐
There we go. How's that?
12月7日元ゲーム開発者の田中悟を射殺したのは
Perfect.
これはお前だよな。まあいつまで黙ってようが俺は喋るまで許さねえけど、そんだけ殺して気は済んだわけ。
Right? Don't poke the bear if you value your hand.
違うよな。お前が本当に復讐したいやつは他にいるんだろ。お前を廃人にした連中。
Oh, don't worry. I'll get those done. I'll get those done.
お前をバカにしていじめて引きこもらせる原因になったやつら。本当に殺したかったのは。
ああ、やだ。もうやだ。怖い。
何がそんなに怖いんだよ。一番恨んでるやつらを殺したいんだろ。
Well, because I want to know what happens in the game, and I know you guys do too. There we go. Yes. Right? Good thing Sasazuka is a master at this. And here we have the Chihuahua when you get within 5 feet of him.
何言ってんだ。
違う。俺は言わない。何も言わない。だから。
Oh, okay, what's got him so scared?
おい、そうだ。
Because this is more than the Chihuahua. This is more than Chihuahua cowering in fear. This is like, he fears like he's gonna die.
そうだ。おい、しっかりし。そうだ。
He looks like he'd been electrocuted as his body convulsed and he collapsed onto the floor, chair and all. Soda? Soda, are you alright?
そうだ。そうだ、起きろ。
Why do I get the feeling that the next thing we're gonna hear is...
He's dead, chum.
The investigators who were watching started to run about behind the glass. It seemed like they were calling for an ambulance. He looked like he needed medical attention. But in the next instant... Oh, good! Soda opened his eyes. Soda?
頭痛い。
Don't waste your time. So many don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. So many don't waste your time.
誰だあんたら。
What's going on here? He looked like a completely different person as he was looking around.
ちょっと。あんたら
Oh, I have
何
an
なんだよ
idea. I have an
なんで
idea.
俺こんなとこいんの？
Let's see, we gotta turn the camera, aim it up a little bit more. Nice to meet you too, Yuki! What were you playing today? Here we go.
Soda
No,
Manabu.
no. Alright, I'll just take a step further back. There we go. 1,
なんで俺の名前知ってんだよ。
2, 3,
ここがどこかわかんねえのか。
5,
わかんねえから聞いてんだろ。
6, 7,
って。
8, 9,
それどころじゃねえし。
11,
え、あ、
12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I owe you 5 more in a second. Soda fumbled through his products and realized something was missing. He started to panic.
なんで俺の携帯ねえんだけど
2, 3,
ねえ俺の携帯知らねえあれねえとマジ困るんだけど
5. 25 squats. Sasazuka was looking at Soda. All color has drained from his face. You were also playing an Ultimate game called Arcana Familia. It's on Steam and Switch, and it's an Italian mafia fantasy Ultimate game. Nice! Is it one of your favorites? I gave you...
Emotional, damn it!
I gave you the 25. I just did it at the same time as playing the game. And I don't know why I didn't think of doing it that way earlier. I must have been making the same expression. All we could do is stand in front of Soda while he was yelling for his cell phone. What's your favorite part of it, Yuki? What's your favorite aspect of the Italian mafia Otome game? Oh, that's true. He did. He mentioned not wanting to be erased right before collapsing. That's a good point. I am definitely making a note of that. Is Sasazuka going to be alright? A certain something was brought in a few hours ago, and since then he'd been looking at the computer the entire time.
Sasazuka君はまだのようですね。
Yes. After returning to HQ, Minagishi looked absolutely tired. But that was because a horrible fact had been discovered regarding Manabu Soda. After his episode, he was taken to the hospital for an examination. An emergency surgery was done on him when a foreign object was found lodged in his neck. That could be what caused him. And maybe that key word of erased is what triggered that.
相談の経過は順調ですよ。麻酔から覚めたらまた検査をすることになるでしょうか。笹塚君に渡したチップの解析次第という部分も大きいですね。
Could that chip have something to do with Soda suddenly changing?
可能性は高いでしょうね。
Minagishi said that with a stern look. The object at the base of Manabu Soda's neck was a microchip. Sasazuka was currently embroiled in analyzing that chip. Maybe I should make some coffee. Coffee! Coffee! I want coffee. Although I already had coffee. So I probably shouldn't have more. I felt so powerless here. That was the first thing I thought to do. Huh?
くそ。
どうしましたか、笹塚君。
ほぼ割れた。でも手遅れ。
Chips like snack chips, right?
基本的には盗聴、発信機能。つまりこれをつけられたやつは常に自分の動向を監視され、チップを通して指令を受けていたことになる。
That's like my collar. When I reacted to that revelation and looked at him, Sasazuka nodded.
電波の発信先も探ろうとしてみたけど、あと一歩のところで遮断された。ちょうど解析が終わるのを見計らったかのようなタイミングで。
Ooh, what's everybody's favorite kind of chips? Mine are Fritos. I also really like Cool Ranch Doritos.
見事に敵の手のひらの上ということですか。では、
Ooh,
相場の件は
flaming hot limon Cheetos. Nice. I can't do spice. Like, I can't handle a whole lot of spice. I can do tteokbokki because it's literally like burst and death of heat. But I don't like that tongue and mouth on fire feeling lasting for much longer than that. So, but I'm glad you like it.
可能かどうかは別として、推察するならこのチップが原因で事件に関する記憶を丸ごと消されたと考えるのが自然だと思う。
なるほど。そちらについては明日からの精密検査で調べていきましょう。念のためではありますが、精神鑑定も進めておいた方が良さそうですね。
I agree. Soda needs a psyche eval. He definitely does.
しかし、笹塚君の推察が事実だとすれば、X デー事件の犯人たちには皆同様の処置が施されている可能性があります。失踪中の菅原理香や世良明と、他にも現段階で疑わしいと思われているものを捕まえることができたとしても、
Oh no, you gotta run all the way back to the dungeon because it sent you back to your
逃走中にああして
house.
記憶を消されてしまっては、事件解決の糸口にはなりそうもない。
自白が期待できないなら、それ以外の方法で追い詰めるだけですよ。
That is true.
ええ、その通りです。
Minagishi flashed a wry smile. I was sure that Minagishi and Sasazuka both knew exactly how difficult and time-consuming that can be.
ひとまずお疲れ様でした。報告書は明日で結構ですから、今日はもう上がってください。
Huh? Are you sure?
じゃあ遠慮なく上がらせてもらいます。
はい。ではまた明日。
おい、お前もさっさと支度しろ。
Huh? Oh, right. I quickly gathered my things as he hurried me. Get back here, little leaf buddy. That's the name of one of the critters in the Fey realm. I love it. Sasazuka seems to be in a bad mood. I looked at the cars as they drove past, and I wished for the signal to change sooner.
この後予定あるか？
Is he gonna ask us out on a date? Flaming hot Cheetos, jalapeno cheddar Cheetos, or kettle-cooked jalapeno chips, depending on your mood that day. That's totally fair. Yeah, sometimes I feel more of a Fritos mood, and sometimes I feel more of a Cool Ranch Doritos mood. So that's totally fair. Huh? Are you going back to the office? He clicked his tongue when I asked him back, and then he asked again.
予定はあるのかないのか。
I don't.
だったら付き合え。うさばらし。
What did you have in mind exactly? I love how Ichika is making him work for this. She's like, you can't just ask this. You have to, like, ask me directly, flat out. Do you want, like, do you want to go out with me? You know, like, just say what you mean and mean what you say. Which we get a lot with Sasazuka. But in this particular case, I think he's really nervous to ask her out, and he's putting on this persona. Ooh, pizza Pringles? I definitely need to try that. I haven't had Pringles in so long, but usually when I do, I get the sour cream and onion ones. What did you have in mind exactly?
決まってんだろ。こういう時は。
Go to dinner and eat! He put his fist to his mouth and made a drinking gesture. Aha, that too. I understood. Oh, dude, me too. I am getting so hungry. I didn't think we'd just be drinking at home. I thought we'd be going out to a bar, but he said he didn't really like noisy places, so here we were. It was the second time I'd been to Sasazuka's home, but in light of what happened here last time, my face was burning up. It's not even 2 p.m. for us yet, so not dinner time, right? Although it is possibly time for a late lunch if you haven't had lunch yet. Yeah, we could totally do that, Soul. We could totally do that. That sounds fantastic.
何挙動ってんだよ。
Right? Me hungry too. It's nothing at all, Sasazuka. Wow, you bought this much alcohol?
目についたの適当に放り込んでたし。あ、これ俺の。
Sasazuka was holding a special seasonal fruity cocktail. That's nice. Then I'll have this.
お前はこれ。
I reached for a light sour, but he pushed a beer at me instead. Huh? That would be my reaction too. I'd be like, but I want that one. I want that one that tastes like fruit.
文句あんのか？
No. The last time we went to a bar, I had a beer, so maybe he bought it specifically for me. I didn't really hold my alcohol well. I thought I was quite bad at it. After I became a working adult, I had to go out drinking more, and I seemed to remember some sketchy pseudo rule about drinking beer first. I just have to pace myself, exactly. I like drinking, but I couldn't really enjoy it with Sasazuka the same way I enjoyed drinking when I was with Sayaki. I can't really get drunk and let go in front of Sasazuka.
ああ、ムカつく。
He downs his cocktail and then munches on some potato chips. Potato chips! It really is annoying. We finally found evidence leading to Adonis.
ああ、チップのこと言ってんのか。別にそれはいいんだよ。
What do you mean?
普通に考えてたどれるはずねえだろ。何調べてんのかお前の首輪通して向こうには筒抜けの状態だぞ。
Right? I mean, you could, Ichika, but he'd surely hold it over your head the next day. Exactly. In true Sasazuka fashion, he would. Oh.
もちろん俺だって分かった上で裏を書いてやろうとはしたけど。
Then what exactly had you looking so mortified a second ago? Sasazuka went silent and took another big swig of his cocktail. He then glared at me. But what?
なんで飲まねえんだよ。
I am. I don't want to cause trouble for you by getting drunk, so I'm pacing myself.
何もっともらしいこと言ってんだ。俺は付き合いって言ったよな。
Ooh, I will definitely take a look after stream. I am, aren't I? I do like to drink.
飲んでね。
I will. Why is he so pushy? While still a bit confused, I took a sip of the beer for now. While under his watchful gaze, I took a sip from my beer.
勢いが足りねえ。
This is called alcohol harassment.
知るか。いいから飲め。酒好きなんだろ。
Sounds good! I will definitely take a look, because I think I remember seeing them. I'm pretty sure I do. I just gotta scroll up and remind myself what they look like, but I remember them being super cute. He's even more aggressive than usual. It didn't seem like he'd let it slide. I bolstered my resolve. I tipped the can to drink, but Sasazuka kept watch on me. Look! I drank it!
まだ残ってんだろ。
Ugh. He pointed at the can in my hand, trying to make me drink more. He's always been pretty bossy, but he seemed a bit different today. This one is the deductive reasoning, I think. He doesn't seem like he wants to get into it. I feel like asking him why is only going to cause more issues. Whereas if we just kind of do a, finish up our drink and just go about our business, maybe that'll be better. Right, sir? Why are you like this? Exactly. Maybe keeping our thoughts to ourselves for now might be the better play. We can just finish our drink, let him process, and then maybe we talk about it, later when both of them are sober. That might be the better play. Yeah, I'm thinking that might be the better play. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with it. We'll just finish our drink and then because I'm still a proponent of communication and trying to figure out why he's being so aggressive. But I feel like that's a conversation for when everybody involved in that conversation has a bit more of their wits about them. We'll just drink quietly. He said he wanted to let off some steam. Maybe there's something he can't share with me while he's sober. Given his personality, I am inclined to agree. I definitely am with you. He doesn't seem like he wants to talk. Vocal Duck! How's it going? Good morning! What are you up to today? I looked at the can in my hand, steeled myself, and downed the rest.
お、なんだいけるじゃねえか。
Stretchy stretch. There we go. Just redeeming a hydrate and stretch. How am I? I'm good. Been busy, but good. And going through a computer hardware class, getting a degree in cybersecurity. Not sure what I'm going to be doing with said degree, but at least it's, it's something for if I decide, if that's a route that I want to go. But it also can help me just make sure that I and other people are safe online. Yes, Donna chose wisely. Donna chose wisely. Well, this is nothing.
よし、なら次はこれな。
Right? These days, cybersecurity is a tough subject. Yeah. It's one of those things where everybody kind of has different ideas of what is and isn't safe, and trying to get a full picture of anything from the media these days is hard. Yay! Baby Spot asks you to play Fortnite. I love it. He hands me a mixed cocktail that has a higher alcohol content than the beer.
グビッといけ、グビッと。
He's like, hey, we're just here to have fun. Sasazuka laughed happily. I didn't know what to think of it as I popped the can open.
お前は操作の基本って何だと思う？
Sasazuka suddenly asked me that while tearing open a bag of shredded squid. Sadly, emotional intuition with Donna doesn't have the same ring to it as deductive reasoning with Donna. My decision-making was sound nonetheless. Exactly, yes! Ah! I'm so glad that my decision-making has been sound for the last couple. Right, emotional intuition with Donna doesn't quite have the same ring as deductive reasoning. I wonder why that is. We're wearing our unicorn shoes that a friend got us one time. I love that! Unicorn shoes! The foundation of investigation? My head was hazy from the alcohol, but I tried my best to think. Field experience?
型通りの答えだな。学校で習ったことそのまま
Aw,
言って
that's
る
great
だけ
that you love the shoes. Is it wrong?
まあ間違いではないけど、それは基本中の基本だよな。俺が言ってんのはもっと先。現場を洗うだけ洗って、そこから捜査を進めるために何をするかってことだ。
That's difficult.
簡単だろ。犯人の側になって考える。それだけだ。もし自分だったらどうするか。アリバイの作り方、証拠の消し方、捕まらないために何をすればいいか。犯人を取り巻く状況と事件の概要を合わせて考えてみれば、選択肢ってのは結構絞れてくるもんだぜ。
Is that how it is? Sasazuka, is that how you conduct your investigations all the time?
まあ、基本だからな。
For some reason, Sasazuka turned away with a bitter expression as he tipped his head to drink. I felt buzzed on account of the alcohol intake as I continued to drink more. See, at that point, I personally would be stopping. I'd be like, hey, Sasazuka, it's been great, but I need to go home. While I still... while I still, have my wits mostly about me. Aw, you get to play with your Twitch uncle and auntie on Fortnite and they gift you all kinds of stuff. I love it! I've done pretty well this round, and unlike you, I passed trigger mode on the first attempt, right? I was so scared I was not gonna pass that trigger mode. I was like, oh no. What is going to happen? Is the bullet going to hit Sasazuka? Aw, you're Norwegian Twitch auntie. I love it. I can still drink some more, but I better be careful so I don't say anything stupid. Yeah. To think like I was a criminal, that's difficult. Yeah, I wouldn't want to put myself in the criminal's shoes.
お前みたいなやつにはそうかもな。
I need to look at Lady Fose's message, because she said she had messaged me a photo of the Friends inspired blanket. Oh, that's so cool! I love the color choices, Lady Foes! And I love the way that it almost looks like, how do you get it looking almost like waves? That looks so good, Lady Foes. I love it! Is that because I'm stupid? Says Ichika?
それもある。
Oh, and he says that with a straight face. Because of course he would. Mr. Sasazuka. Saltyzuka. You're terrible.
最後まで聞け。お前の場合、精神が健全すぎて難しいってことだ。
You could tell me, but you're still holding out hope that I'll go back and get it myself after finishing this route, so no spoilers from me, or from you, other than that it was well done. Aww. I get the feeling I will be glad when I go back through that I have a Kleenex box literally right next to my desk.
前にも話したことあったろ。 お前は人を殺したいほど憎んだことなんてないだろうって。
Yes.
それと同じだ。お前もし自分が誰かを殺すとこなんて想像でき。
Honestly, no. That may be impossible for me.
だろう。そういうことだよ。俺とは違う。
Sasazuka? I couldn't hear him mumbling, so I inched closer to his face. That was when Sasazuka's arm reached out to me. I think I know where this is going!
だいぶいい調子だな。顔赤いぞ。
Okay, we're going buddy buddy. Yes, I think I'm starting to get tipsy. You were very unhappy. You mean that as a compliment to the writing team? Yes. It's always so good when the writing team writes something sad so well that you're like, meh! Unlike the way they wrote off Alex on Grey's Anatomy, which I'm still salty about. Even what was that, 3 years ago? Even all these years later, I am still so salty about how dirty they did my man Alex. Aw, you've got a kitty on your lap. I love it. Hi, Lottie. Sasazuka, are you drinking too?
おう、適当にな。
I see. Sasazuka's complexion seemed to be exactly the same. Maybe it was because he held his alcohol well, or maybe he was always drinking cocktails. Oh, it's Bodhi! Hi, Bodhi! I don't know what to think anymore. So, did you blow off some steam?
そうだな。お前がもう少し酔って見せてくれりゃ晴れるかもな。
Okay, that is where I would be like, okay, Sasazuka, good night, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. He gave me a smile while he said that, which made me think, I usually drink more than this. Alright. No, Ichika! Aw, he heard me. His ears were listening and he looked at you like you said it. Oh my gosh, Bodhi! Bodhi! Yeah, you would have tapped out at this point too, you think? Ichika is stronger than you. Yeah, see, I would have honestly left at the first sign of getting buzzed. I'd have been like, hey, gonna get an Uber, good night. Ichika Hoshino, here I go! After that display of bravado, I downed the cocktail. Oh, Ichika! Phew! Now, let's keep going. I started to drink out of pride, and I relaxed my inhibitions, becoming less and less aware of how impaired I was. Sasazuka, be a gentleman. Make sure she gets home okay. Please? I'm gonna snooze these ads.
大丈夫か？目座ってんぞ。
I'm fine.
本当かよ。
I chose a highball for my third drink, and it was so smooth that I finished it immediately. I better work harder to help Sasazuka let off some steam. This useless sense of duty drove me onward.
おい、もうそろそろやめとけ。
When you first played this, you were yelling at your screen, Ichika, no! See, you and I are on the same page! You're the one that told me to keep drinking, Sasazuka.
いや、そうだけど。俺がいいって言ってんだからやめとけ。
I'm fine. With a quick motion, Sasazuka relieved me of the highball can.
もういい。俺がイラついてたのは半分自己嫌悪みたいなもんだから。
I was about to ask him what he meant, and he threw some almond chocolates in my mouth. I started chewing on the chocolate, and Sasazuka heaved a sigh.
ムカつくのは分かっちまうからだ。操作すればするほどあいつらの手口がめちゃくちゃ腑に落ちる。俺ならこうすると思うことを全部やられてる。悔しがる以前に納得してる自分にもムカつく。嫌になるんだよ、時々。
As if he were waiting for me to swallow the chocolate, he quickly threw another one in. Does he want me to just listen?
聖人君子になりたいわけじゃねえけど、俺は多分そこら辺のハードルが低いから。お前が当たり前のように踏みとどまる場所を俺はきっと簡単に飛び越せる。今ももしかしたらかなりギリギリのところにいるのかもしれない。
The almond made crunching sounds in my mouth. Sasazuka's words began to swirl and spin inside my head. What does he mean to be at his limit? What's the bar he's talking about?
もし俺がもしも向こう側の人間になるとしたら。
本当にそうでしょうか。あなたはすでに我々の理念を誰よりも理解しているはずです。
Those words crossed my mind, and I reached out subconsciously.
おい、何？
Sasazuka. I was surprised how loud I spoke, and instinctively I held him down hard.
うわっ。
What was that?
はあ？
What bar are you talking about? What do you mean you're at your limit? Sasazuka, you're an idiot.
はあ？
You always call me stupid, but maybe it's actually you that's the stupid one.
喧嘩売ってんのか？
You're always so bossy and inconsiderate. You treat me like a pet and you eat junk food all the time, and you always say such mean things.
やっぱ喧嘩売ってんだろ。
And yet, when it matters most, you're a kind person that comes to help me.
一か。
Tell me that you won't go anywhere. Don't go to the other side. Say it. Or else. Or else I'll cry.
はあ？ちょっと待って。何いきなり泣いてんだよ。
Sasazuka, it's because you said something stupid. If you can't say you won't go...
いいから泣きやめ、落ち着け。飲ませた俺が悪かった。謝ってやるから泣きやめ、酔っ払い。
I'm not drunk.
どこがだよ。
Don't go. Please, don't go. Sasazuka.
おい、こら。このバカ。
While the world was spinning in darkness, I felt a gentle hand that I couldn't see gently caressing my hair. I longed for that warmth. I remembered that I held on tight so that I would never let it go. Aw, that's awesome that you guys love your Fortnite skins, and that Baby Spawn has another one called Lady Marigold. I love it! I regained consciousness with my eyes closed. I'm afraid of opening my eyes. I had a bad feeling about this. Or rather, I knew that I was in a bad situation. I wish I could just forget it all. But I couldn't just stay here, so I summoned the nerve to open my eyes. Good morning.
言いたいことはそれだけか。
Sir, you could have not done that. You could have been a gentleman and taken her home. She is drunk, but don't pretend you didn't at least partially instigate this, Sasazuka. Exactly. I'm sorry. This wasn't the hour to be relaxing, so I was desperate to get up. I had no time to be embarrassed, so I gathered my things and ate breakfast en route to the station. Right? He totally could have! Like, he could have, like, made it where she got home okay, said, I'm gonna call you a cab, something. He could have, if he wanted to keep her there, so that she wouldn't be, like, out by herself. Right? Exactly! He could have, like, had her sleeping on the couch or something. He really is. Meanwhile, Sasazuka looked sullen the whole time. I should be careful not to drink too much, no matter how much he urges me next time.
おい、桜川のとこに行け。15日の都庁爆破事件について取れる資料全部取ってこい。
Yes, but what about you, Sasazuka?
夕べの報告書作っとく。
Alright, I'm off now. I then heard my cell phone ring. It's a message from Kazuki. Oh no, I didn't call him to tell him that I was staying out last night. I cautiously turned on the screen. Did you find out anything about Akito? Apparently Kazuki was preoccupied thinking about Akito. I hesitated a little before replying. Intellectually, he's brilliant. His people skills leave much to be desired. Exactly. Nothing yet. Sorry. I was too busy to contact you. How are things with Okazaki? He's annoying. His underling Yoshinari is, too. Don't say that. I'd be worried sick if anything were to happen to you. I've been messaging Akito, but he's not responding at all. I'm sure he's reading them. I hope you can get through to him. I'm going to keep sending him messages until he blocks me. Let me know if anything happens. I sent that message and put away my phone. Kazuki sends messages that won't be replied to. Akito must be reading them and know he can't reply. Just thinking about that makes my heart ache. I shouldn't sympathize too much, I know. Even so, I wanted to believe in Akito's innocence. There was a part of me that still believed.
ああ、星野。そろそろ来るかと思ってた。
Hi, Sakuragawa. Sasazuka asked me to pick up the materials relating to the Metropolitan Office bombing on the 15th.
はいはい。まったく、笹塚も復職したなら。
Sasazuka is quite busy too.
知ってる。はい、これ資料。なんなら6月の資料もつけようか。
Huh?
相談の時と同じく2つの事件は関連してるんでしょ。だったら念のため持っていきなよ。
I suppose. Thank you. Since Sasazuka returned to the line of duty, I didn't have to secretly take materials out. Knowing that, Sakuragawa seemed more cooperative. Anyways, I'll get going now.
ちょっと待った。
Sakuragawa? She took away the file she'd just handed me and pulled my arm. She wants food, doesn't she? She moved her face closer as if to share a secret.
あんたと笹塚って。
Oh!
できてんの?
Right? Next time, Sasazuka, take her home when she's drunk. Exactly. Call a cab, something. Huh? What?
見ちゃったんだよね、今朝。仲良く同伴出勤してるとこ。 それになんか距離が近いような気がしてさ。あの距離を
I think we're just used to each other more now.
いいんだよ、隠さなくたって。私その手の感が結構働く方だし。
It's not true.
動揺しすぎ。しかも顔真っ赤。ねえ、本当のところどうなわけ？笹塚はともかく、あんたの方は。
That's... I didn't know why my mind always filled with the worst possible things to think during situations like this. I knew that my face is burning red right now, and there's no possible way that Sakuragawa didn't notice that.
へえ、なるほど。
But wait, no! Really!
察するに、何もないわけではないけど、確定的な何かには至ってないって感じ？
Yeah, that's exactly it. Because it's like, we're not 100% sure where we stand. Good morning, Joe boy!
図星か。
It was good! Busy, but good. How about yours? I will exercise my right to remain silent, says
知
Ichika.
れないこと言わない。あんたと私の仲じゃない。
But really, it's nothing like that. And if you invent weird misunderstandings, I'd feel bad for Sasazuka. Oh man, I'm sorry, Joe boy. What's going on? How can we pray for you?
おお、いじらしいね。仕方ない。そんなに言うなら今回は引いてあげるよ。ただし、そのうち飲み会ね。その時は徹底的に追求するから。
Can I refuse that?
これまであんたに協力してきた私にそういうこと言うんだ。
Fine, let's go eat barbecue then. Okay, well if you need a listening ear, my DMs are always open.
そうそう、分かってんじゃん。まあ、肉は肉、恋バナは恋バナだけどね。
I couldn't dodge it. Oh, I love that emote. I love that emote. Sakuragawa smiled wide as I took the files back from her. I had this odd feeling when I left the room. I didn't think that she saw Sasazuka and me that way. I couldn't help but dwell on it after what Sakuragawa said. Either way, I had been ignoring the situation. Yeah, okay, I did read it right. Cool. Either way, I had been ignoring the situation and leaving things ambiguous, and she forced me to confront it. We were partners. But when I think about it, or when I think about that more, I'm asking myself, are we really? The distance between us was completely different than when we first became partners. Besides, I can't kiss someone who I don't have any feelings for. At least that's how it was for me. What about Sasazuka? I should stop. This isn't the time to be thinking about that. I can define our relationship once we've finished dealing with Day. I carried the heavy files and returned to the investigations HQ. And that is where we will end for today. I am going to save. Overwrite number 15. Let's go to the just chatting screen. I've delayed the ads as long as possible to attempt to get through to a good stopping point. Let's see here. Let's mute that tab. Let's see who all is online. Yeah, I think we're gonna just go ahead and end it without, like, after the ad break. And we'll see we'll see how things go then. So in the meantime, while ads are going, because I wasn't able to, stop those ads, I hope that you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week. Admiral's streaming? Did he just go live and I missed it? I'll check that while we're on break here. There he is. Okay. That's who we're gonna raid to. So I will get this raid set up while we... Okay, so I must have just missed it scanning the list of people that are online. So let me make sure that I've got this right. We're gonna get this raid started. If you are a sub, here is your message. And if you are not subbed, here is your message. We've got both of those going. And we're gonna go hang out with Admiral Kratos and hang out and just kind of see how things go. He currently is playing Marbles on stream. So if Marbles on stream is something that you like, then that is perfect. So we're just going to hang out here for the next 10-ish seconds while we wait for ads to finish. He is currently on an ad break. You guys have a fantastic week too. Sock monkeys on Fortnite? Love it! Alright, you guys, we are going to go and raid Admiral of Kratos. He's currently playing Marbles on stream, so if that is something that you enjoy, please feel free to hang out, and I will see you guys later. Bye!